Hello, welcome to Made to Heal with Angela Brown. So, I wanted to talk about something that I think I have struggled with my whole life. And I still struggle with it today, but I listened to a podcast and I'll share that here in a little bit and then I'll share my thoughts. But before I get into that, I invite you to check out the link in the comments below to my book called You Are Made to Heal Spiritually, Emotionally, Mentally, and Physically. Let's just put it out there. We truly are made to heal. God and Christ are in us. And because of that, we have the ability to heal. I didn't realize this. I've been a Christian my whole life, but I struggled for 30 plus years with childhood trauma, emotions that I didn't know how to handle, and mental, verbal, all sorts of stuff growing up, right? And I had some happy times during my childhood. And, I was brought up in a dysfunctional family. I have raised a dysfunctional family. And so, but I didn't have the tools to move forward. And I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of resentment. I had suicidal thoughts and I had depression and postpartum depression. 30 plus years, all of this stuff, and it weighed me down. It kept me stuck. It kept me stagnant. And it was when I hit rock bottom in the fall of 2015 when I called on our Savior Jesus Christ. I called on him several times. And I truly feel like he has led me to tools and techniques that have truly helped me be able to heal on all of these levels, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. I felt broken. I felt like I wasn't able to, I thought I wasn't able to be fixed, right? I just thought this is how I was born and this is what I'm stuck with. And I guess that's my lot in life, to just be miserable, unhappy, and full of anger and not knowing how to get past that trauma. Boy, was I wrong. And in fact, it's just been an incredible healing journey. When I wrote this book, I had all teens in mind and all adults, male, female, no matter where you are at in life. Maybe you're like, I'm great mentally. I don't have any problems. Well, I hate to burst your bubble. We all have problems. But no matter where you find yourself in your mindset, I don't have all the answers, but I have a lot of tools that truly have helped me. And they're out of the box ideas that I didn't realize they existed. And they're so simple to help bring joy and healing to our lives. And it just has made all the difference in my world. So check that out, share it with others. And what I wanted to talk about is something that I have struggled with my whole life. And do you know what that is? I have struggled with clutter. I have struggled with keeping certain rooms clean. I'm just going to be honest and brutal, okay? What I have struggled with keeping clean. And I have a large household. Not so much now, but I've raised 8 kids, right? Half of them are out of the house right now. But I struggled. And in fact, my husband had a grandfather that would tell her, "You're a stacker." And so my husband would hear him say that all the time to her because he lived with his grandparents for a short little while before we were married. And so when we've been married, he would just, and I didn't accumulate all these bad habits until I hit child number 4, right? Child number 4 came along and I was out of control on so many levels, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. I was out of control. And so my husband would say the same thing to me. "You are just a stacker. You're a stacker. You're just like my grandma. You are a stacker." And yes, I was. And I still am. I have my piles, right? And if I'm looking for something, I'm like, okay, I don't know where it is right now, but it is either in this place, or this place. Let me go start looking. Like I'll find it. But I feel like I have wasted half my life looking for stuff. And that's being a little exaggeratory, right? Not half my life, but I've wasted a lot of time looking for stuff because I haven't felt organized and there's clutter everywhere. In fact, I have struggled with it for a long years and years. And I will have excuses like, well, because this is going on in my life and whatever, right? Excuses stink. Everybody has them and they all stink. Okay. So I was really proud of myself. It was after I hit rock bottom. It was probably about 7 or 8 years ago. I was able to keep my bedroom clean, Now, I know you guys might think like, okay, that's not that hard. I keep my bedroom clean. Some people struggle in different areas, but I had a hard time. My dresser, it's a big hutch with a mirror over it, and it was the catch-all. If I didn't know where somebody should put something, I'd go set it on my dresser. So my kids learned really quick. If they didn't know where something went, they just went and put it on my dresser. And so my dresser was always covered and a mess. And then my room, like I didn't have a system to keep my room neat and tidy all the time. And so, yes, we had hampers, and sometimes, there's just, anyway, I mean, there was always, it wasn't so filthy to where there wasn't walkways or whatever, but it would just get out of hand. And let me tell you right now, if you have a clutter issue, that's physical, right? It's something that you actually can see, look at, and go, yes, that is a physical issue. But let me tell you, clutter is not just a physical issue. And by the way, I got this idea on this topic by listening to Mel Robbins. She's awesome. She has a lot of self-help things. And but I'm like, oh, you know what? I want to talk about this on my channel because this is something I truly have struggled with. So I was so proud of myself for keeping my bedroom and my dresser cleaned off for 12 weeks. 3 months. 3 months. I was just like, oh, it's totally doable. Then I don't know what happened. I got off that bandwagon and my room has not been the same since, until as of last week. I just was like, you know what? I need to get my life in order. And before I tell you about me starting to get my house in order, it's not just a physical thing. Everything happens on a spiritual level first. First and foremost, everything happens spiritually. So if you're feeling chaos, if you're feeling clutter and messes all around you, it didn't start that way first. It started spiritually. It started mentally and emotionally as well. So if chances are, if you have a mess all around, whether it's in several rooms or just one room, you can't relax. I mean, if you're like me, I just think most people, I'm going to say all people, I think all people, if you are in a mess, you can't relax. It's not a warm, inviting environment. The energy is chaos, right? If you're in a mess, it's unorganized and it's chaos. That's the best word I can use to describe that. So my house has, been very well lived in, and I have this running joke like, hey, you want to come see a clean house? Come to my house on a late Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening, and you're going to catch my house great. It's going to be clean. But I recently got a job, and I've been working part-time the last 4 years, and I recently got another part-time job to where I'm going to be working over, it's going to be more than a full-time job, right? The hours combined is more than 40 hours a week. And so I'm just like, but before I interviewed for this job, I had in my mind, like, I've got to get things in order. I'm tired of feeling like this. And so we have that power. We have control over our lives when it comes to clutter. And I really liked the things that she had a special guest speaker on. I can't remember her name. So go look up Mel Robbins' podcast. But she had a guest speaker, and this guest speaker said, don't go buy more containers and buy more stuff to get organized, and then you're just adding to the problem. It's just compounding. And I've been known to do that. When somebody's like, hey, would you like this? I'm like, yeah, what could I fill it with? What could I, try to organize and straighten in my life? And then anyway, but she is big on 3 things. And I'm going to go over these 3 things because it made complete sense. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But it is important to keep our spaces clean. We have to have our sacred places where we could go and relax and go unwind for the day and not be like, I'm in a mess. I can't even relax. This is, depressing or whatever. So it really affects our mindset, our emotional state of being. Messes around us, clutter really does affect stuff like that. So I want you to be mindful. Now, I didn't have this gift, right? This is something that I have struggled with all the time. I clean homes, and I happen to clean a home at a particular home, and this lady is very organized. You don't see a whole lot of clutter messes. It's like, wow, she's very organized, and some people just have that gift and know how to do it so well. So if you're one of those ones that know how to do it so well, I love that. If you're one of those ones like me and you struggle, it's okay. We can't have it all, right? But it's important to be able to work on these things. So first of all, trash the things that need to just belong in the trash it, don't hang on to it. And I'm a firm believer. In fact, I was introduced to minimal thinking, minimal living, minimizing things a long time ago, because I had heard something long ago of like, if it's been a year or more and you haven't used it, why are you hanging on to something? And I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. So I periodically go through my closets all the time going, you know what, I really haven't worn that. I must not like that. So whoop, we're gonna donate that. And so so first of all, don't collect more things, but just put things in the trash, or have a particular place to put it, to Goodwill, a thrift store, or donate it to a family that you know could use it, wherever, but donate it. And then for the extra stuff, the other stuff that you're left with, it's put it in a intentional designated place. So what if you pick something up and you're like, well, I don't know where this goes. Like sometimes I find it here and I said, so always put it somewhere where it has meaning to you, where it's going to make sense to you. So just pick up an item going, okay, where would I go to find this first when I'm going to go look for it? Where would I want to go to find that? And then that's the place that you need to designate your item to have a little bit more order and control. And also, if you're feeling out of whack, out of sorts because of the clutter around, it's overwhelming. If you're like me, I'm like, my whole house. I'm going to be selling my house in the near future. It might not be for a year or two more, but we've lived in our house for 20 years and we have collected a lot of stuff. And I'm like, I'm not going to take all this stuff with me when I move. I don't want to. And so but it's been overwhelming to think of every room, right? Every room in the house. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So we don't need bigger homes. We don't need bigger this or get more containers, because we're going to crowd up those spaces eventually too. If you think, oh, we just need bigger stuff, we need more of this. No, if we can get our mindset to, okay, I have what I need. This is something that's excess. I don't need that. Why is this laying around? Do I really need to hang on to this? And that's kind of where I've been. And honestly, there's some things that I'm like, oh, this has a lot of sentimental value. Like, do I want to get rid of this? This was my grandmother's. And sometimes I'm like, you know what? This isn't going to go with me when I move. So I'm just going to ask one of my daughters, hey, this is something that belonged to your grandmother or great grandmother. If this is something you want, great. If not, then be okay to let it go, and donate it or sell it to somebody that's really going to appreciate it. So try not to get so attached to things. I think when we get attached to things, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and mentally, it's not serving us. It really doesn't serve us. But I just think that's an important topic to talk about, is the clutter in our lives. If we are feeling clutter in our lives, just remember it starts spiritually first. So how can we get rid of that clutter? How can we get rid of the clutter in our minds? Are we negative self-talking to ourselves? Are we sabotaging ourselves with our thoughts? Are we keeping ourselves away from God because we think we're not worthy, or we think that there's too much stuff going on, whatever it is? There's a lot of things that get in our way that happen before the clutter happens. And so it's important, if you definitely have clutter in your home, if you have clutter, maybe it's just in one room, maybe it's a little bit in every room, sort of like my house. I feel like I have clutter everywhere. it's if you feel like you have clutter everywhere, then guarantee you there's clutter in your spiritual, emotional, and mental life as well. And you're not feeling settled in those areas either. And so address those. That's so important to address those. Ask yourself questions. How am I feeling? How do I feel when I'm standing in this particular room? Think about the room that has the most clutter. How do I feel in this room? Do I like being in this room? What can I do in this room to help me feel better? And go with one thing at a time. Sometimes it gets overwhelming. Like I think of my whole house and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to go to sleep. It makes me so tired thinking about it, right? Sometimes we can have that. And so instead of, taking the big elephant all at once, just one little bite at a time. And maybe you are in a big mess. Open a drawer and be like, you know what? I am going to go through this drawer and I'm going to junk and do those 3 things. Put it in the trash, donate it, or put it in a designated area where it belongs. And then you're going to feel good about, you know what, that's done. And then the next day, maybe do another thing else. Just little bit at a time. Don't make it overwhelming. We're not here to overwhelm and stress ourselves even more to the max, because most of us are dealing with tired, fatigued, adrenals, overworked. So we're not here to add more stress. But if we address the clutter in our lives, we're going to be able to have a lot more calm, a lot more serenity in our life, peacefulness. Order just brings a whole different realm, a whole different atmosphere, a whole different energy and vibration to your energy field. So it's important to allow yourself to be organized and to get rid of that clutter in your life. So this is something that I'm going to be honest, I work on it all the time. It's something that I'm going to have to work at every day. And the people that are completely organized and clutter-free in their home, I realized they work at it every day too. They have a specific place for things and they garbage, or they donate it, or so it's important to realize that that's what we can do with our stuff. Don't get more stuff. Don't get more bins. Don't get more storage things thinking, okay, I'm going to use this. I'm going to hang on to this for in case so-and-so comes over. Don't worry about other people. Worry about your space. Worry about your energy. And it'll all work out. I promise. But some of us are carrying way too much and we're putting too much into our field of energy. And some can handle more than others, but get rid of, if it's stressing you out, that's the time to go, okay, I don't need all this stuff. What am I willing to get rid of? So I promise it'll feel good. You'll feel lighter when you declutter your life spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. God bless you and yours. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Share it with others. It is my mission and my purpose to help others in their healing journey, because I was stuck for so long and I didn't think healing was possible. I was not in a great space, but healing is available to all who are willing to put in the work. Yes, I said work. It's going to take a lot of work and determination, but we are to rise above where we are at right now. No matter where you find yourself, what level you find yourself on, we are to be lifted up. We need to become a better, stronger people. I believe we have a lot of things that we have to withstand in this world, and doing things that will bring our energy up will help us, and decluttering our lives is one of them. So God bless, and please like and subscribe, and until next time, we'll be talking to you later. Bye.